Today we're going to cook a Thanksgiving inspired meal. I'm going to make a few very nice sides and we're going to roast a whole chicken. This is also a great inspiration for everyone that wants to have a smaller meal for Thanksgiving, doesn't want to necessarily buy a whole turkey, so you can still make an amazing delicious dinner roasting a whole chicken instead. We're gonna make a cider glazed Brussels sprouts, creamy purple mashed potatoes, a Hasselback honey nut squash, a little homemade cranberry sauce, and the whole roasted chicken. I hope this video inspires you, and let's get started. So today I'm using this pasture-raised chicken that I have left uncovered in the fridge overnight. This is the best way to get a crispy skin in a roasted chicken, and I'm going to season it with the herb salt that we made together in another video, some olive oil, and I have some fresh rosemary that I have just cut from the garden, and I'm going to use this to stuff the chicken together with 1 lemon. So before I get my hands dirty with the chicken, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this rosemary and this lemon. Rosemary is just too big, I want to cut it in half, but I'm gonna use my pruners just because it's a little more efficient with the woody stems. There we go. Let's see how much we can stuff in there. And for the lemon, I'm just going to cut the edges out, cut in half, and just stuff the whole thing in there to add some very good extra juices. I'll start with adding some olive oil all over and my herb salts, and we're gonna make sure that we're going to season the inside of the chicken too. So we're gonna do the outside, rub it together with the olive oil, and then this goes in the inside of the chicken too. Season it well. Then we're gonna flip it back and do it again. I'm just gonna wash my hands real quick in between. We're gonna season really good. Turn it back, I have a little extra. I'm gonna put more in the breast. Make sure the legs and the wings are all well seasoned. Now we're gonna stuff it. I'm gonna put the lemon. Turn it on. Just nothing special. We're just gonna stuff it in there and add the rosemary. That's just gonna add some extra flavor to the cavity while it's cooking and make some really good pan dripping juices too. So I'm gonna stuff it well. I've got some extra here, which I might add to the pan. I might add some onions in there to roast together with. And here's how I'm going to truss this chicken. Come under here, cross it. Then we go under again to make sure it's nice and tight. There we go. I like to get a little bit more into the ankles, let's say. Yeah, yep. Then we're gonna turn it to the back. Pull it over here, under the wings. We're gonna tie it. Starting off. Cut off the excess. And now we're going to flip the tip of the wings inside so they don't burn. There we go, and we have our trussed chicken. I was going to roast just like this by itself, but I think I'm going to add some onions in there for some extra flavor. And since the onion has to fit underneath this rack, just going to cut kind of on the edge small, so it's going to just cook and caramelize and get very delicious with all that chicken fat. Add the onions to the bottom. I have some thyme also drying from the garden, and I'm gonna add just a few sprigs. I gotta process this, and it's fully dried. I have to put it in a jar. There we go. Just add some extra thyme in here for extra flavor. I'm gonna add the garlic in there too. Just cut in half. Make it very tasty. And I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna add some rosemary. Lots of rosemary because we have it in abundance from the garden, so why not? Get this all drizzled with some good olive oil. I'm gonna have a lot of chicken fat falling in here, so I'm not too worried, but I want the garlic to be nice and well oiled. And I'm gonna add a little bit of herb salt on top of the garlic too. This is not, the chicken is not going to be above this. So we just want to add the nice extra flavor, a little bit seasoning. And we're going to put the chicken right back on top. Here we go. I'm still keeping the tray. Just going to add some black pepper. I love lots of pepper. Now is just fresh pepper. It's a great thing to invest in a meal. I have this for years and you can just keep reusing and refilling it with fresh peppercorns. The oven is preheated to 400 Fahrenheit. Now we're going to work on our vegetables. I have them all washed. And we're going to start with our purple sweet potatoes. We have to cook those first. And we're going to cut the Brussels sprouts and the honey nut and make the cranberry sauce. I'm going to cook the sweet potatoes whole with the skin on. We're going to just add them to a pot of water. This is about a pound of sweet potatoes. I'm going to cover this pot with hot water. Just enough to cover the potatoes, and we're going to put this to boil while we are cutting our vegetable. Alright, let's get dicing. We're going to start with the Brussels sprouts. I'm just going to cut this in half. This is 1 pound of Brussels sprouts. And I bought them in a bag. They are not the newest. Has some, you know, this outer skin is not looking great, but it's alright. We can just peel them off. So I'm going to cut them in half, and if they're really big I'll cut into quarters, but I'm peeling off the tops because they are not looking very great, the outer layers, and we're going to be adding them to our little scrap bucket here. And today we're going to use my new Vego composter for the first time. I'm going to collect the food scraps from everything that I'm cooking today, and we are going to see how that works. I'm really excited to get it all set up and start processing our food scraps at home. I'm going to roast with some olive oil, salt and pepper. Using my herb salt again, just a little added extra flavor to the Brussels sprouts. And some black pepper. Okay, give it a little toss. Make sure everything is nice, evenly well coated. And we're going to add it to our pan. I like to face them down real quick if I have the time. I think they get nice and crispy that way. This is an extra step, not necessary, but I like to do it because I can do it fast. Okay, now we are going to do the honey nut squash, and I like to peel it with a peeler. It's the easiest way that I find to peel a squash. Now, since I'm going to put this into the composter, I'm going to chop them up just to help it out. It helps if the food scraps are a little bit smaller. They're already thin because I've already peeled them. But since I have them here on my cutting board, might as well just cut it. And put in our scrap bucket again. I'm gonna press it. I'm getting full already because the Brussels sprouts had so much, unfortunately, damaged outer layers. Now we're gonna cut the top and the bottom of the squash. Some people leave this when they do Hasselback. I don't really like to. Prefer to just add the edible parts. And we're going to scrape the seeds with a spoon. Those seeds are going in the composter as well. You can roast them. I'm not doing it today. Don't want to take too much of the flesh because this is already a small squash. Okay, now for the fun part. So let's cut this. You probably have seen people all over the internet, at least I have, putting chopsticks down. The good thing about this is it will place a stop in your knife and you won't accidentally go all the way through. Okay, I guess it's alright. Last time I tried, it was a little wobbly, but I guess holding the chopsticks does make a big difference. Get this sticky part down. There we go. That's very cool. Now let's see if I can do the other one without the guard, without going all the way through. Okay, not too bad. Oops, I did go a little bit farther to one of those, I can see, so maybe the chopsticks is good if you're trying. I'm gonna put them in a bowl and just going to add lots of olive oil, salt and pepper. We are going to add the glaze for both of this after it's roasted. We're just going to first give an initial roast, then we're gonna make our glaze on the stove, and we're going to finish glazing it up. So I'm gonna just gently massage and try to get that everything nicely inside. And then we're just going to add to the same tray and roast it together. We're gonna roast for 20 minutes first and check. If the Brussels sprouts are ready, I will take them out and let the squash keep going. Okay, now that we have everything in the oven, let's start using our composter. I will make the cranberry sauce right after because it's very easy and very quick. First, let's fill that carbon filter that I didn't do it on the unboxing video. So we're gonna do it right now real quick. Going to press here and we're gonna open the back. I also have the vego tabs that I'm going to use one today. And let's get to the filter. So this is activated charcoal and it helps with the smell, which is great. And you can also use this in the garden after it's done here and have to refill. I think it lasts about 3 months, which is pretty cool. So excited to use this. I've been actually saving some food scraps. Very nice. This is how the activated charcoal looks like. So we're just gonna pour the contents in here. Now we're gonna add the little filter that came in the package too, right on top of it. Close the lid. There we go. And I'm gonna open and add the food scraps in here, then we're gonna turn it on. Let me just open the lid. And now we're just gonna add the scraps. I'm gonna add some more stuff. I've been saving a few things in the fridge. I put it out right before I started this video, but this is some coffee grounds and some other stuff from last night's dinner. We're gonna add that here too. It's about 2 quarts. And I have some leftover rice, because you can put cooked food in here too. That unfortunately stayed in my fridge for too long. I forgot about it. It stayed in the back of my fridge after I put some fresh veggies in there, and we can't use it anymore, unfortunately. So it's gonna go right in the composter too. This is a great thing for leftover, not only for your ingredients when you're cooking, but you can also add some leftover things in there. There's a whole list of things that you can add on their website. Okay, so we're gonna add the water and our vego tab, because I'm going to use this on the vego mold because this one helps preserving the beneficial nutrients, and I can also keep adding food to it while it's cooking. So I'm going to use the tab today too. Okay, and you're supposed to crush the tab before adding to the composter. Let's put the lid back on. Turn it on. Press this first button, the vego mode. Alright, this is really cool. I could watch this turn all day, but let's go back to the cooking because I might be a bit behind now. The Brussels sprouts and the squash should be done by now. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, they're looking great. The Brussels sprouts are nice and crispy in the bottom. Oh, they're very hot too. But that's good. We're gonna set them in the side just for a minute here. The chicken still needs some more time. And our sweet potatoes are also cooked. So I'm just going to remove them from the water there. And we'll let them cool slightly before we peel because those are really hot. Okay, we're gonna put this in the side, starting our cranberry sauce. This one's very easy. These ones I bought from just a big store, and a lot of them come a little mushy. When I buy from a farmer's market, they're usually all nice and firm. So I'm just gonna go and look one more time. Take off the soft ones. This was just a little over a cup of cranberries. Okay, this could go in the composter too. Can I open while it's going? Well, I'll find out in a minute. Let's start another bucket so I don't get too distracted. And we can add more scraps to it at the end. Just going to add a cup of cranberries, 1 orange. This is a blood orange. I think it adds to the color, and I love the flavor of blood orange, so we're gonna add that. I have a citrus squeezer I'm gonna use. Actually, I got a little distracted here. I always like to add some of the zest to my cranberries, so we can do only from one. And I'm just going to cut it off the peels like this. I would have done with a peeler in the beginning. I'm taking the pits off so it doesn't taste too bitter. This is about this much. And sugar. So I'll do a half a cup of sugar. You can put more or less if you want. I don't like it super sweet. I like a little bit tangy still, so we're gonna do half a cup of sugar. So half a cup. Okay, and to the stove. Cranberry sauce is really fast. It literally can cook in about 10 minutes. So we're just gonna coat the cranberries with the sugar. Some people add the orange peels later. I don't mind adding all together in the beginning, especially if we take the pits off. I'm gonna let it cook here until they pop, and they'll be ready. For our glazes, we're gonna do a apple cider miso glaze for the Brussels sprouts. For the honey nut, I wanna make a red chili and honey, like a sweet chili sauce kind of thing, but homemade. So because these potatoes are still a little hot, we still have the sweet potatoes to take care of. We're gonna start with them first. I will have to clean this pot that my cranberry sauce is, and we're gonna put it in a little container. I'll show you how it looks. You can mash it if you like a little bit more jelly consistency. I like to see the cranberry, so I like to keep my whole if I can. Here we go. Put it here so you can see. I'm gonna wash this pan, and we're gonna use this to warm up the milk and stuff to make our mashed potatoes. So we're gonna add half a cup of milk to this, and a little bit of butter. I don't like to add too much butter. You can add as much as you like, but I'm gonna add just a couple tablespoons of butter to this. Not going too crazy. Cutting 2 tablespoons here. I'm going to flavor this with a little bit of thyme. This will also be great for regular mashed potatoes. So just a little bit of thyme. And we're gonna put this here on a low heat just to warm it up and melt the butter. And meanwhile, I'm gonna start peeling these purple sweet potatoes. I'll keep this in a bowl so they don't stain everything. You can peel them with your hands. Look at this color, isn't it beautiful? It's not as hot anymore. If it's too hot, it's hard because it burns your hand. And if it's too cold, it's also hard. They kind of stick there together. So the best way is when it just started to cool, so you can handle them, but they're hot enough that the skins can come up easily. I like to grow some of these in the garden next year. So now I'm going to move the peeled potatoes to this bowl. Let's put the peels to our composting thing as well. Why not? Now if you want this super fine, you could use a ricer or a food mill to process this. I like them looking a little rustic, and they're pretty soft. These ones are very soft. So just going to use a potato masher to work on those. And then we're going to add this to that pot that's warming up with our milk and our butter. And I'm going to season it too. I'm also going to use this herb salt. Everything is going to have the same nice flavor profile. Just a little bit. Actually, no, I'm going to go the other way. So you guys can see I'll add that milk to the potatoes and mix it up in here. Just waiting for the butter to melt a little bit more. And I want to get this glaze going. So for the Brussels sprouts one, we need apple cider vinegar, miso, and maple syrup. So we're going to grab those. Then add this to a little pan. You know, miso is not supposed to be heated up too much because you lose all that nice probiotic properties from it. So I'm just going to measure out about a tablespoon. We're going to put that after. We're going to get this hot first, and then we're going to add the miso. So I'm going to add half a cup of the cider, 1 tablespoon of the apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. So that's going to be going here. While that's warming, we're going to do the mashed potato. Now the butter is all nice and melted. Well, let's get this. We're going to add the butter and the milk and just mix it up. We need to get things going here. I'm gonna start slicing the chilies for my next glaze. So I'm going to use this here. This is from the garden. I have some long red chilies. So we're gonna cut this in little slices. This one is not hot. You can use a Fresno pepper if you want, or two. I'm using these long ones, don't know the name. And about this much, what is this? Maybe let's say a quarter cup or less than that. Put it in a little quarter cup. It's an 1/8 of a cup of sliced chilies. Then we're also going to need quarter cup of honey and 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar. So I'm gonna add this in here. I'm gonna measure a quarter cup and then 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar. We're just gonna add all the ingredients that we measured here to this pot and put it in the stove too. So honey. You can also do this with maple syrup if you want a richer flavor, or sugar. I like to use natural sweetness when I can. Okay, add all the ingredients. I'm gonna scrape the rest of this honey in. Mix this and let it cook for a little bit. This one, we just want to kind of soften the chilies and also reduce it slightly, but you don't want it to be too thick for the butternut squash. You kind of wanted that to kind of fall into the little ridges that we made. I guess I will call this one good. We're gonna turn it off and wait until it stops boiling to add the miso in. You could have reduced a little more, so let's see. Even with the residual heat in there, if it reduces. Now we're gonna let that come up to a boil and cook very fast. That one's not gonna take long. Here's a closer look on how the glaze looks. So it has reduced a bit and changed color. It's a bit hot still. You can see some steam coming up. While that's cooking, we're going to add the miso to this. Just about a tablespoon. And we're going to use our whisk to whisk this in. And now our glaze on this side is good as well. So just a little bit. You don't want to cook too much. I don't know if this was 3-5 minutes, but just a little bit. And once it cools, you kind of thicken up a little bit too. Just finish it up in here because it's easier to just rest somewhere in the whisk. And my miso is a little dry. Smells wonderful though. So it's taking a little bit longer to kind of incorporate. And you can also strain this. I'm not going to, but you could strain it if you want a smoother sauce. Oh, it looks great. Looks like we just made some miso cider caramel. Color is great. Now I'm gonna taste it. See if it's good with the acidity and the saltiness, because miso can be quite salty. But Brussels sprouts are a bit bitter, so they do very well with salty dressings or things. Ooh, that's really good. It's a little salty and it's a little thick, so maybe I'm just gonna add a little bit more of apple cider vinegar because it does need a bit more balance. And I think some acidity would be good, so I'm gonna add a teeny bit of apple cider vinegar, maybe 1.5 tablespoons instead of just 1 tablespoon. Oh, now it's beautiful. Love the way it looks. Taste it one more time. Ooh, perfect color, so good. Delicious. We're gonna glaze the Brussels sprouts on this. So, since I was filming this one a bit off track, but ideally you want to get these Brussels sprouts further hot and then glaze them right away as soon as they come out of the oven. So that didn't happen, but it's okay. I'm just going to toss the Brussels sprouts in here actually. I could add it to a bowl and toss it, but it's not as many. It will fit in here. I'm going to show you guys in a minute, give you a close up and show you how nice and crispy those look. Even though they are a bit too cooked to my liking, but still looks really pretty. Look at that. Nice and caramelized. We're going to toss this up real quick. There's a spoon actually, so we don't make a mess. Again, if you're doing this at home, you get this Brussels sprouts, make the glaze first. Lesson learned in this video. Get the Brussels sprouts out of the oven because they cook fast. I will cook a little less instead of 20 minutes or 25 or 15 maybe. And then you toss them in a bowl after. Let me try one. Oh my god, it's so good. Have another one because I'm hungry. That's great. Wow. And since this is for myself, I can just warm this up in the stovetop, eat it. Now you're gonna take a look at our other glaze. It looks nice, and just a little thick. We're gonna taste this also before I take out of here because I want to make sure it tastes good. Woo! Oh, that's spicy. I thought that was not going to be spicy because of that chili. Woo! I was wrong. Wow. Really, it's really forward in the honey. I want to be a bit more in the sour, so we're gonna add a little bit more of apple cider vinegar to this too. Maybe another tablespoon also. Okay, much better. Oh, it's still a little spicy though. Now we're just going to glaze this, guys. Not in here because it doesn't look nice. Let's put it in a nice plate. I'm gonna pick up this butternut squash. Add to the plate. Honey nut squash, sorry. And another one. And this is a small dinner because it's for 2 people. If you're making this for more people, you can do 2, 3. This one kind of fell in there. Collapsed. That's okay. And then we're just going to drizzle this with our dressing, which is optional. We don't need to use this. You can eat just as is. It's going to be delicious, I promise you. But here's our little sweet chili sauce. To be honest, I think with maple syrup it's better, but this one's good too. But I use what you have. And I already used maple syrup in the other one. I wanted to make it a little bit different. Okay, so I guess that's it. We have everything ready. We have this delicious garlic, roasted garlic here that I'm going to serve with the chicken. Let's get this chicken going. And I could also make a gravy with all of these nice drippings over here from the chicken. Oh my gosh, this chicken is nice and well rested, but still really warm. Look at this. Oh, it smells so good. I hope you guys can see all these drippings in here. Oh yeah, that would be a delicious gravy. Oh, you know what? Let's make one. Why not, right? We are almost done. I'm gonna move these Brussels sprouts to a different plate too. Put this in here. Let's use the same pan to make our gravy. We're gonna get all this nice miso flavor in there. A little bit of sweetness from the apple cider. Let's test that out. Let's see if that is going to turn out good. We're going to just add these drippings here. I could also puree the onions, but I'm not going to do that today. We already did a lot of work. We're going to put them whole. It's going to be a nice caramelized onion gravy. Not all of them. I will use that for something else. Definitely not wasting that because it's very tasty. And just cook it out. We are going to add just a little bit of flour to this to thicken up. I put it while it's still a little cold so you won't lump it up too much. And all of that flour is going to bind with the fat, like if you were making a roux with butter. Okay, look at that. So fast, nice and thick. Got a super quick caramelized onion gravy, but I gotta taste it first before I comment it to you guys and see if it tastes good. I haven't added any seasoning to this. Oh my god. But all the chicken drippings, oh my, so delicious. Okay, the caramelized onion. I don't taste a lot of rosemary, which I was worried would be too much for the rosemary, but here we have it. Another quick dish. Quick addition to our meal, which is good because everybody likes gravy. And I could even add this roasted garlic in there too. Or we can add them to the Brussels sprouts. Since we're cooking out together, who doesn't like Brussels sprouts with the roasted garlic? Oh, that's so good. Now these skins over here from the roasted garlic, I'm not going to put in the composter. I love to save those to make stock. It adds a delicious, rich flavor to stock. And since I roasted a chicken, I will use the bones after we eat it to make stock for us too. Oh, so this is going to be saved. It looks a little silly to have made just one honey nut squash. Should have made more. Please make more if you're making at home. You'll look a little nicer. Or a whole butternut squash, which will be very cool too. But here we have it. The light in my kitchen is not the best to show this. So we're going to take it outside to the garden and make it a nice little meal over there. I'm also going to change the plate of this because this is too big of a plate for this sides. So we're just gonna add this, oops, to this other one that matches the Brussels sprouts. Look at that, already looking much better. I'm gonna take this out of this board that I just put in here so it's easy for me to bring. And we're gonna get some garnishes from the garden to make things look even nicer. So I'm gonna get some rosemary, just a couple of sprigs right next to the chicken to bring, you know, a little bit more color. That didn't look as nice as I thought. It needs more. Some smaller ones. There we go. A little bad for the chicken, much nicer. Let's grab some parsley for the sweet potatoes. We also have this beautiful variegated nasturtium. Maybe I'll take a few and see where I could use it. I like the smaller ones when using for dishes. I love the flavor of nasturtium too. We also have this gorgeous mizuna here that I could make a salad, and some arugula that I could use for a salad too. But let's start just with the herb. And then we're gonna add some of this parsley fresh right here at the sweet potatoes. And put these nasturtiums here. Or maybe I'll put it in this. Oh yeah, that's very nice. Put it into the honey nut squash. Fresh parsley in our mashed potato. Add some pop of green. You need some green, you know. You can put some chives too. I have some chives in the garden, but I have to dice it. So we're doing just the parsley. You can just break it over like this. Oh, that's beautiful. And we'll add the rest of it to the chicken decoration. Nice and herby. And the Brussels sprouts, I don't really want to put parsley. I would put chives, but I don't want to cut it. So this is how our end product looks like. We have a beautiful purple sweet potato mash, herb roasted chicken, honey nut squash with the chili glaze, cider miso glazed Brussels sprouts with roasted garlic. This one's a little harder to see. There we go. Roasted onion and rosemary gravy, blood orange cranberry sauce. Here is an overview of the whole spread. So what you guys think? Would you cook this for dinner or for a small Thanksgiving party? I think it turned out pretty good. The Brussels sprouts could definitely been a bit greener, so cooking a little less would help with that. And I would add a salad to this. So this definitely needs a salad. So let's just harvest some of this and put it in a bowl to see how it would look all together. I love mizuna. It's so spicy too. I think it's great with all of those rich flavors that we just made. Not for everybody. It's a bit is in the mustard family, so it's a little mustardy, but look how beautiful this looks. Now let's get some arugula. Actually, I already harvested some. You guys can see it's all missing for dinner yesterday. There's some more abundance. They're growing very well for this time of the year. It's been warm, so they're doing really good. I got a little more because I do want to eat this with all of those delicious things over there. One more from here. Just going to break this in half. I do like to eat the stems too. Love it, the crunch. So we're gonna keep them in there. And some of this nice, gorgeous mizuna. Looks like seaweed to me. I love it. And some great texture. And I'm gonna move it to this side because it's too much purple next to each other. So there you go. Now we have all of our side dishes with our meal. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. I can't wait to go back inside, warm this up and eat it all. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'm gonna head back there, put the rest of the food scraps in the composter, and we'll see how the finished product looks like in another video. So thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time.